I never imagined those words would escape my lips. Without protection, please. Even now, just remembering the sound of my own voice, whispering them, my cheeks flush with a mixture of embarrassment and thrill. What surprised me most wasn't that I said them, but how naturally they tumbled out, like they'd been waiting in the shadows of my heart for years, perhaps decades. I'm 62, long past the years of flirtation, of late-night dates, of spontaneous laughter. That made your chest flutter. At least, that's what I thought. But life, it seems, isn't done surprising me. It all started with a simple thing: gray hair. For over a decade, I had been going to the same salon, a modest, cozy place tucked in the corner of a quiet street. My stylist, a gentle woman named Martha, knew me so well that we barely needed to speak. She knew my color, my preferences, the exact angle to trim my bangs. In that salon, I was safe, cared for, invisible in a way that felt oddly comforting. But then, one morning, a note appeared on the door. This salon will be closing at the end of the month. Thank you for your years of patronage. I stood there, stunned. It felt like losing an old friend. For weeks, I avoided doing anything about it. I let my roots grow, the silver threads crawling defiantly across my scalp. I told myself it didn't matter. Who was I trying to impress anymore? But one day, while sipping lukewarm tea at my kitchen table, I noticed a flyer tucked into the local newspaper. It was for a new salon just a few blocks away, specializing in mature hair care. It read, "Experienced stylists, modern techniques, walk-ins welcome." Something stirred in me, a twinge of curiosity, maybe even anticipation. I made the call that same afternoon. The morning of my appointment, I found myself staring at my reflection longer than usual. I applied a touch more blush. I dabbed on a lip tint I hadn't worn in years. I even changed outfits 3 times, settling on a soft beige blouse that hugged me just right and a pair of tailored jeans I'd almost given away last winter. My fingers trembled slightly as I buttoned the top. It's just a haircut, I told myself. But deep inside, I knew it was something else. The salon's glass door opened with a chime. Inside, sunlight streamed through wide windows, illuminating sleek chairs, full-length mirrors, and the soft hum of music that felt both modern and soothing. A young woman greeted me warmly at the counter. "Good morning. You must be Claire?" "Yes, first time here. Let me get your stylist, he'll be right with you." Before I could process that single syllable, he appeared. Tall, mid-40s, perhaps. Salt and pepper hair, clean-shaven with a strong jawline, softened by an easy smile that instantly warmed the space between us. "Hi, I'm Daniel. I'll be taking care of you today." His voice was smooth, low, comforting, like a favorite song playing at just the right volume. I stood a little too quickly and almost stumbled over my own feet. He caught my elbow gently. "Careful there." "I'm okay," I murmured, already feeling foolish. As he led me to his station, I tried to focus on anything but him. The chair's leather was cool. The mirror was spotless, the faint scent of sandalwood and mint in the air. But all I could really sense was Daniel, his presence, his energy. He was close, but not invasive. Confident, but never cocky. "What are we doing today?" "Color and trim," I replied. "Mostly gray coverage. I've let it go a bit too long." "No problem at all. You've got a great natural tone. We'll work with it." I watched him in the mirror as he parted my hair, his fingers grazing my scalp. Every touch, even the lightest, sent a quiet wave through my body. My skin responded in ways I hadn't felt in years, goosebumps. Quickening breath, the flicker of heat deep inside my belly. When he guided me toward the shampoo station, I obeyed like a schoolgirl. Reclining in the chair, neck nestled in the basin, I closed my eyes. Warm water cascaded over me. His fingers lathered the shampoo slowly, tenderly, each motion deliberate, like he was memorizing the shape of my skull. At one point, his thumb brushed just beneath my ear, and a soft moan threatened to escape my throat. I bit my lip. "Is the water okay?" His voice was right at my ear. "Yes, perfect." Was it my imagination, or did he linger there just a second longer? The massage that followed was almost too much. His hands pressed along the nape of my neck, my temples, the curve just beneath the base of my skull. I felt my thighs tighten. my toes curled in my sandals. When he leaned over me to adjust the towel around my shoulders, I caught the scent of his skin, clean, masculine, faintly woody. My heart thudded as he walked me back to the chair and gently towel-dried my hair. I realized I had crossed a threshold without even noticing. I wasn't just enjoying the pampering, I was longing for something. I wanted him to touch me more, to lean closer, to notice me as more than just another aging woman in his chair. After the blow dry, Daniel stood behind me, tousling my hair with his fingers, inspecting his work with quiet satisfaction. "You look radiant," he said softly, meeting my eyes in the mirror. I felt my chest flutter. "Oh, I don't know about that," I murmured, eyes dropping instinctively. "You really do. Would you like me to try a little styling today? Something soft and elegant? No charge." I blinked. No one had offered me that in years. "Just for fun," he added. "It might suit you." I nodded before my voice could catch up. "Sure, why not?" He smiled. "Not the professional kind. Something else, more intimate, more curious." As he moved behind me again, his fingers slid through my hair with a new tenderness. He gathered sections slowly, twisting and pinning, occasionally letting a few strands fall deliberately around my face. "Tell me if I'm too rough," he murmured. "You're not," I said, perhaps too quickly. The salon was quiet now. Fewer clients, a lull in conversation, just soft jazz humming from the speakers, and the delicate rhythm of his breath behind me. Then it happened. He leaned down, closer than before, and in a tone that was both teasing and serious, he asked, "By the way, Claire, do you prefer it with or without protection?" The words hung in the air like perfume. My heart stopped, my throat dried. I turned my eyes to him in the mirror, caught in the intensity of his gaze. For a heartbeat, I couldn't move. My mind tried to find meaning, anything but what it sounded like. "I'm talking about the hairpins, of course," he said, his voice laced with mischief. "We can use the soft bands instead. No metal." I laughed, a short, nervous sound that dissolved too quickly. But the damage had been done. My mind was already spinning, heart racing, a delicious burn creeping up my neck. "Still," he continued, his voice low, "unless you'd rather go without, I'm open to either." And then, without fully understanding why, I heard myself say it. "Without, please." It slipped out like breath. Our eyes locked in the mirror. There was a beat of silence. I knew my cheeks were crimson, my hands trembling faintly in my lap. He didn't tease. He didn't smirk. He simply nodded with the same quiet smile, but something had shifted. A spark passed between us, fragile and electric. His hands were gentler now, slower. When he adjusted the final piece of hair near my temple, his fingers grazed my cheek, not carelessly, but as if testing the softness of my skin. I held my breath. "All done," he finally said. I stood slowly, legs unsteady. I could barely meet his eyes. But when I did, his gaze was steady, curious, unreadable, warm. At the counter, as I fumbled with my wallet, he handed me his card. But it wasn't just the usual business card. On the back, in clean handwriting, was a phone number and a note: "Call me sometime. Even if it's not about your hair." I swallowed hard. "Thanks," I managed. As I walked home, the card felt hot in my purse. My palms still tingled. The breeze on my face seemed softer, more fragrant, like the world had subtly changed hues. That night, I placed the card on my bedside table, and I couldn't stop replaying everything. The warmth of his hands, the velvet in his voice, that question, "Do you prefer it with or without protection?" In the days that followed, I found myself glancing at the card on my nightstand more often than I cared to admit. I started taking extra care with my appearance, subtly at first. I polished my nails, added serum to my nightly skincare routine, and even dusted off the old lipstick I hadn't worn since my husband passed away 8 years ago. At the market, I bought a new silk scarf. When the cashier commented, "That color suits you," I smiled, thinking of Daniel. It wasn't just vanity, it was awakening. A week later, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "Hi Claire, it's Daniel. I hope I'm not being too forward, but I'd really enjoy having that tea with you. My treat. This Friday?" I stared at the screen. My thumb hovered. My heart thumped. "I'd like that very much." I wrote back, We met at a small cafe tucked away in a quiet street, just beyond the park. I arrived early, breathless with nerves. My hand shook slightly as I lifted the coffee cup to my lips. When Daniel walked in, he wore a fitted charcoal jacket over a casual shirt, and a smile that made my stomach twist with anticipation. "Hi," he said, warm and familiar. "You're early," I replied, voice barely above a whisper. "So are you." He ordered herbal tea, and we talked, really talked, for the first time. We spoke about books, travel, aging parents, and our shared love of coastal towns. I told him about the sudden death of my salon, and he told me how he'd spent a decade working in high-end places before starting his own. But it was his eyes, the way they lingered on me, just